I am not too concerned about Venezuela. I'm not too concerned about the threats from Maduro and his regime. I'm not too concerned. This is why I don't spend much time on that. And I'll tell you why. Because India, China are heavily invested in Guyana's wealth, Guyana's resources, natural resources. This is not just about oil and gas, but they have heavy investment there. So what Maduro is doing is just playing politics. He has to show toughness for his people and to scare his people off so he stays in power, but he wouldn't risk it. Maduro also knows that he is an easy target, and any country that wants him, they can find him. Because the people who have the most investment are the large population in Guyana, that's the Indians, quantity size of investments, the Chinese. And in terms of common sense, do you think that China and India would stand by and see Maduro devastate their people, their investments, their companies? Of course not. And most importantly, the Americans have massive investment in that region. So I'm not concerned about Maduro. It doesn't matter if the opposition or the Jagdeo alligators conspire with Venezuela or Maduro to undermine Guyana's safety, security, and democracy. It doesn't bother to me. The law of Guyanas are the law of Guyanas. If you find those people who are conspiring to undermine Guyana's democracy and sovereignty, the law says they'll be charged with treason. So again, I'm not too bothered with that. I've seen some images, but I thought not to make an issue out of them because of the relevancy. I've decided to, for the want of bringing some light to that, I'm going to share an image with you. A picture tells 1,000 words. I've seen this image from day one, but I thought not to use it. It is just convenient for me today to include that in the video, just to back up the findings of the doctors. And speaking of the doctors, I think the doctors should file a lawsuit. The doctors who performed the autopsy should file a lawsuit against the people who are peddling this rumor on social media, accusing the doctors to have been bribed, to have been paid under the table by the president or the government to create a false report or give a fake autopsy report. I think the doctors should get all these people, file a lawsuit against them for defamation, for endangering the credibility of the doctors, because these doctors can lose their license. You see, these people don't think before they do stuff. They think everybody's afraid of them. So they can say anything they want against anyone and no one will do them anything. That's the thing with black people. You take risk. You take risk. So you think that because you have no wealth, you have no possessions, nobody can sue you. Yes, they can sue you. They can sue you and you can be committed the rest of your life for paying restitution to the people that you have damaged their character. And these doctors should file a lawsuit against the people who are posting these things on social media, accusing the doctors of corruption and being bribed. So I've learned that there are some pro-African organizations who are threatening to sue me. I can't come around to what they're going to sue me for. You can't sue me for being a racist or discriminating. If you're suing me based on the things I've said on my previous videos, show me one thing I've said that is not true. Because I have condemned public unrest and instability for years. It is a fact that the people who are perpetrating this on the rest of society are blacks. You have not come out and condemned all these people who are claiming that you're protecting the rights of black people. What rights? What rights do black people need? They're the ones violating the rights of other people. They're the ones doing it. So what marginalization or equal opportunities? The people who are perpetrating these heinous crimes against the rest of society are the blacks. It's documented. So the fact is that the rest of society, the Chinese and the Indians, are the ones who need to be suing the black organizations in Guyana for not stepping up and condemning or doing community projects to educate their constituents, or their people as they call it, against violence and crime against other people. They should be suing you people for that, because you have sat by and allowed this to continue for years. Every time there's an election year, every time elections is around the corner, there is public unrest, there is incitement. Where is it documented that you people have been talking against these things? So let's take a trip down memory lane. All the Indians in Guyana came out of India. All the Indians in Guyana came out of one region, one country, India. Their ancestors came from India. Same with the Chinese. And those two groups of people have made more contributions towards the development of Guyana than any other ethnic group, including the blacks. The blacks have not contributed significantly towards the development of Guyana. And I'm talking from the sugar industry to the rice industry. It's the Indians, mostly. Therein I ask the question, we have the situation there with the naming of regions or villages or the naming of streets. I always wondered why we have the streets, one of the main avenues in Guyana called Mandela Avenue. I suppose it was named due to Nelson Mandela. But what contribution did Nelson Mandela personally make to Guyana? Has he ever been to Guyana? Did Nelson Mandela ever visited Guyana? What contribution did he make to Guyana in any way whatsoever? How many South Africans are living in Guyana? Is there a South African community that has made a significant impact in the Guyana's social economic structure? Therefore, they want to name that region where they are in Guyana after the hero. So my question is, when is it documented that blacks were oppressed in Guyana? From the time of independence from the British. And might I say that Guyana was better off, based on the historical facts, Guyana was better off socially, economically, under the British rule than post-independence, post-colonial rule. Guyana was better off under the British when it was yet a colony. But it was the Indians in Guyana who were marginalized following the independence under the Burnham regime. The Indians who suffered mostly economic, social, in some cases violence under the black rule, and they suffered for a long time. So you tell me who was marginalized and who was victimized? Like I said before, in every case, the black man plays the victim game. So we have Mandela Avenue, we have other places that are named after so-called black heroes, but yet these so-called black heroes never visited Guyana, has never made a contribution economically or socially towards Guyana. Because regardless of what you talked about Nelson Mandela stood for, non-violence, why is it still that the blacks are executing violence against other people? You're promoting men like Martin Luther King Jr., non-violence. But why is it black people continue to involve in violence, in crime, in immorality against people that are not like them or doesn't look like them? So who is the oppressor and who are the oppressed? Because the people that you are alleging to support are the ones who are visiting evil against other people. So yes, South Africa is worst off post-apartheid. The blacks in South Africa are worst off economically, socially, spiritually, post-apartheid. The blacks in America are worst off post the so-called civil rights movement. They were better off under segregation. In South Africa, the blacks were better off during apartheid. I am condemning, I am criticizing, I'm calling out the negative behavior of the Negroes, the black people, the niggers. I'm criticizing that. You are making songs. Your sons and your daughters, right there in Guyana, I'm talking about Guyanese, are making songs about bitches and hoes, niggas and thugs, robbing, stealing, killing, gangsterism. Your sons and daughters are making songs like that. You're playing these songs on the radio, on the television, on social media, in your phones, in your vehicles. You're not condemning that. I'm calling them out because of how they're terrorizing society, the terrorists amongst them. And you want to sue me? Start by making an example. All the black churches, don't just go there and open a church to collect money and give the people a false hope of heaven, whatever it is. Let them create a heaven here right now. Let Guyana become the heaven. And Guyana can become the heaven if you make angels out of those people that are executing violence and hell and bringing hell on the people there. Let Guyana become a heaven. Start by preaching unity, respect, peace. Like the Hindus, like the Muslims. Indians are peaceful people. Peace is free. War costs money. Being a law-abiding citizen is free. Being a criminal costs money. Negroes are racial. Black people are racial. Black people are racial, are racist. So they're projecting that guilt of racism on other people. Black people are racial. Even in Suriname, the ones who terrorize other people are the blacks. And when the other people protect themselves against the blacks, you call them racist. You call the white man racist. You call him a white supremacist. He don't want the blacks in his neighborhood because he knows why. The Indian don't want the blacks in the neighborhood because they know why. They are speaking from experience. Why are you upset about that? You have to live a certain lifestyle so that people can be impressed and say, hey, I can trust this Negro. I can bring him around me because his lifestyle is at a different level. But if you're always cussing, you're brawling, you're fighting like dogs in the street, you're pulling guns and you're shooting and you're walking around with a thug and gangster and you look stink and nasty and your skin is full with all kinds of, and you want people to have you around them. If you are truly a true Christian or a true believer in whatever you believe in, then your behavior would exemplify that. You can't just talk one thing with your mouth, you go to church on Sunday or Saturday, but you're a hypocrite for the rest of the week. Don't underestimate social media. It tells a lot about who you are. Because in your quiet moments, when you think you're safe on your phone, you think you're yourself, people can tell what's in your mind because of what you say on social media, the things you post or what you share. And to answer the question from a lot of the people who are following me and viewing me, I have no intentions of being president. I have no intentions of running for president. I have no intentions of serving as any minister in the government. I have no intentions to. I think the Indians do a better job. I think Guyana, under an Indian government, Indian president, is better off. Okay? And I cannot defy my own prophecy. I've said before, I prophesied that Guyana will never again have a black president. That includes me. So yes, there will never again be another black president in Guyana, ever.